Most people believe anxiety comes from overthinking, but that's not where it starts. Anxiety is built from habits you repeat automatically, so familiar you don't even notice them anymore. That's why advice like calm down never works. You can't think your way out of a pattern you're still practicing every day. Here's the part that surprises most people. Anxiety doesn't need fear to survive. It only needs repetition. The same mental reactions, the same assumptions, the same inner responses to uncertainty. Change those habits and anxiety begins to fall apart on its own. In the next few minutes, you're going to hear 6 mental habits that quietly destroy anxiety at the root, not by fighting it, not by suppressing it, but by removing what keeps it alive. Some of these habits will feel almost too simple. Others may challenge the way you've been taught to handle stress. But once you notice them, you can't unsee them. And when these habits change, your nervous system responds immediately. Your thoughts slow down, your body softens, and anxiety loses its grip not because you forced calm, but because the pattern that created anxiety is no longer there. Stay with this. By the end, you won't just understand anxiety differently. You'll experience it differently. Chapter 1. Detaching from thought. You are not the voice in your head. Anxiety doesn't come from danger. It comes from identification. From the moment you wake up, a voice starts talking in your head. It comments, it predicts, it warns, it judges. It replays the past and rehearses the future. And for most of your life, you believed that voice was you. That belief is the root of anxiety. Anxiety is not a chemical imbalance. It is not a personality flaw. It is not weakness. Anxiety is what happens when you mistake thought for truth. If every anxious thought you've ever had was accurate, you'd be dead by now. If every fear your mind projected was real, the world would have ended 1,000 times. But it didn't, because thoughts are not facts, they are mental events. And the first mental habit that destroys anxiety fast is this. You learn to observe your thoughts instead of obeying them. The moment you stop being inside the thought and start watching it, anxiety begins to collapse, not through force, not through suppression, but through detachment. Your mind is a tool, not your identity. Your mind evolved to detect threats. It's biased toward negativity. It exaggerates danger and minimizes safety. That's not a defect, that's survival programming. The problem is that modern anxiety isn't caused by predators or famine. It's caused by over-identifying with a primitive alarm system. Your mind says, what if this goes wrong? What if they judge me? What if I lose control? What if I panic? And because you believe the voice is you, your body reacts as if the threat is real. Your heart races. Your breath tightens. Your muscles tense. Fear escalates. But imagine a stranger on the street yelling those same sentences at you. You wouldn't obey them, yet when the voice is internal, you treat it like law. Detachment means recognizing a simple truth. You have thoughts, but you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that hears them. And awareness is calm by nature. Anxiety needs identification to survive. Anxiety feeds on belief. The moment you believe a thought, your nervous system mobilizes. But the moment you see a thought as just a sentence passing through awareness, the emotional charge weakens. A thought says, I'm going to embarrass myself. If you identify with it, your heart rate spikes, you avoid, you panic. If you detach, you say, interesting, the mind is predicting embarrassment again. That difference is everything. One response collapses you inward, the other creates space. And anxiety cannot survive in space. It needs fusion. The observer position is your natural state. Right now, as you listen, something is aware of these words. That awareness does not panic. It doesn't rush. It doesn't catastrophize. It simply observes. That observer has always been there, even during your worst anxiety. The goal is not to stop thoughts. That's impossible. The goal is to change your relationship to them. When you shift from "this thought is happening to me" to "this thought is appearing in awareness," you regain authority. Anxiety loses its power. Imagine someone walking through a jungle who thinks they see a lion. Their body reacts instantly. Then they realize it's just a shadow. The moment the misinterpretation is corrected, fear vanishes. Anxiety works the same way. Your mind sees shadows and calls them lions. Detachment is turning on the light. When anxiety shows up, start with one simple move. Create distance. Say, I am having the thought that. I'm having the thought that I'm about to panic. That one phrase pulls you out of the storm and into the observer seat. You can also name the anxious voice. Call it the alarm, or the predictor, or the overthinker. Then when a thought hits, you just say, there's the alarm again. No argument, no fight, just recognition. And recognition restores authority. Here's another practice. When a strong, anxious thought appears, watch it for 10 seconds. Don't wrestle it, don't solve it, just watch. Notice whether it changes, whether it weakens, whether another thought replaces it. You'll learn something important. Thoughts are unstable. They rise and fall when you don't fuel them. If your mind pulls you upward into the loop, anchor downward into the body. Press your feet into the ground. Notice the sensations, the pressure in your feet, the temperature in your hands. This brings you back to reality instead of the story. And when the wave passes, end with one calm, firm line. This is a thought, not a command. Anxiety doesn't need to be fought. It needs to be seen clearly. The moment you stop identifying with every thought, you step out of the storm. You don't silence the mind. You outgrow its authority. And once you've learned detachment, every other habit becomes easier. Chapter 2, Training Certainty. Anxiety dies when clarity arrives. Anxiety doesn't thrive on danger. It thrives on uncertainty. Your nervous system can handle pain. It can handle struggle. It can even handle fear. What it struggles to handle is not knowing. Not knowing if you're safe. Not knowing if you'll lose control. Not knowing what happens next. That's why anxiety doesn't only scream, it questions. What if? What if this gets worse? What if I can't handle it? What if I never feel normal again? Those questions feel intelligent, but they act like poison. Because every unanswered what if becomes a threat signal and your body responds. Here's the truth. Anxiety fades when certainty becomes your default mental posture, not certainty about outcomes. Certainty about yourself. At its core, anxiety is a crisis of trust. It's not fear of events. It's fear that you won't be able to handle them. You're not afraid of a panic attack. You're afraid you won't survive it. You're not afraid of judgment. You're afraid you'll crumble under it. So the real question underneath anxiety is simple. Can I trust myself? When the answer is unclear, anxiety stays active. When the answer becomes yes, anxiety loses its job. Certainty is not optimism. It's internal authority. It's not pretending everything will be fine. It's self-trust under pressure. It sounds like this. If it happens, I'll handle it. If I panic, I'll breathe through it. If I fail, I'll recover. If I feel fear, I won't run. Anxiety scans for weakness. Certainty closes the door. This is also why reassurance can make anxiety worse. Googling symptoms, asking for validation, checking how you feel over and over, repeating "I'm okay" like a ritual. It feels helpful, but it trains the belief that you can't handle uncertainty alone. Certainty doesn't ask permission. It makes declarations. Imagine a soldier in a violent storm. The storm doesn't stop because he's calm, but the soldier who trusts his training moves forward anyway, not because he feels safe, but because he knows who he is under pressure. That's certainty. Anxiety is the storm. Certainty is your training. So you build it like you build strength, through repetition under resistance. Start with a simple script. No matter what happens, I will handle it. Not it won't happen. Not everything will be fine. Just no matter what happens, I will handle it. Repeat it when uncertainty appears. Repeat it when your mind starts asking what if. Say it slowly, calmly, firmly. Then neutralize the worst case story with clarity. Ask, what's the worst realistic outcome? Then ask, could I survive it? Then ask, what would I actually do? When you answer those questions honestly, the fog clears, and clarity suffocates anxiety. Another skill is decision over debate. Anxiety loves mental loops, so you interrupt the loop with a decision. Choose a response, commit, say, I've decided. Even small decisions train authority. Certainty also lives in the body. Stand tall, relax your shoulders, slow your breathing, hold a steady gaze. Your body tells your brain whether you're safe or under attack. And finally, use the even-if rule. Replace "what if I panic" with "even if I panic, I stay." Replace "what if this gets worse" with "even if this is intense, I handle it." When escape is removed, anxiety weakens. Anxiety survives in hesitation. It dissolves in decision. You don't need to control life. You need to trust yourself inside it. And once certainty is installed, fear loses leverage. Chapter 3. Control the body, control the mind. Anxiety doesn't begin in the mind. It begins in the body, the racing heart, the tight chest, the shallow breath, the restless energy, the sense that something is wrong even when nothing is happening. Most people try to think their way out. They analyze, they reason, they reassure, and they fail because anxiety is physiological before it is psychological. By the time your mind starts panicking, your body has already pulled the alarm. Once you learn to command your physiology, anxiety stops feeling mysterious. It becomes mechanical, and what's mechanical can be mastered. Your nervous system doesn't speak language, it speaks sensation. Your rational mind understands words. Your nervous system responds to breathing patterns, muscle tension, posture, movement, and heart rhythm. When anxiety hits, your body moves into fight or flight. Trying to reason with a body in survival mode is like negotiating with a fire alarm. You don't argue with it, you turn it off. And you turn it off by sending physical signals of safety. Calm is a skill, not a trait. People who seem naturally calm are usually trained, even if they never called it training. Calm isn't the absence of fear. Calm is regulation in the presence of fear. Most anxiety is a feedback loop. A sensation appears like tightness in the chest. The mind labels it as danger. Fear increases. The body escalates. The sensation intensifies. The loop feeds itself. The fastest way out is to interrupt the body's signal. When the body calms, the mind follows. Elite athletes feel the same adrenaline anxious people feel. The difference is they don't resist it, they breathe into it. They ground into it, they move with it. Anxiety is energy without direction. When you learn to regulate it, it transforms. Start with one of the quickest tools, the physiological sigh. Inhale through the nose. Then take a second short inhale on top. Then do a long, slow exhale through the mouth. Repeat 2 or 3 times. You're telling your nervous system, you can stand down. Next, train extended exhales. Inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 to 8 seconds. Longer exhales activate your calming system. Do that for a few minutes daily and your baseline starts to shift. Then add muscle release. Clench your fists for 5 seconds, release completely. Do the same with your shoulders, your jaw, your legs. You're teaching your body the difference between tension and safety. And don't underestimate posture. Straighten your spine. Drop your shoulders. Lift your chest slightly. Slow your head movement. This isn't cosmetic, it's a signal. Movement also matters. Sometimes stillness amplifies anxiety, so ground physically, slow walking, pressing your feet into the floor, stretching your hips and spine, gentle shaking of your arms. Movement discharges excess adrenaline. When anxiety rises, one of the most powerful shifts is this. Stay and regulate, breathe, ground, soften. You're retraining your nervous system to learn this sensation is safe. That's how anxiety dissolves long term. Your body is not your enemy. It's a misunderstood ally. Anxiety is activation without direction. When you can regulate your physiology, fear becomes predictable and temporary. Chapter 4. Mental repetition. Installing calm as your default state. Anxiety feels automatic because it is. Not because it's permanent, but because it's been rehearsed. Every reaction you have under pressure was trained. Every emotional pattern you repeat was practiced. You were not born anxious. You were conditioned, and anything conditioned can be reconditioned. Calm isn't something you wait for, it's something you install. And the mechanism that installs it is repetition. The brain learns through repetition, not insight. Understanding anxiety doesn't cure anxiety. Repetition does. Every time you react fearfully, avoid discomfort, seek reassurance, or escape sensation, you reinforce the pathway. Every time you stay present, regulate calmly, respond deliberately, and hold authority, you weaken it. The brain adapts to what you repeat. Anxiety is a rehearsed response, like a song stuck on repeat. Your job is to play a different track often enough that it becomes the default. Here, where most people miss it. They only try to calm themselves during anxiety. That's like training for a marathon during the race. Calm has to be practiced daily when you don't need it. Because the brain encodes calm during safety and retrieves it during stress. So build a daily calm session. Sit comfortably, breathe slowly, relax your body deliberately, then repeat internally and slowly, I am safe, I am calm. I handle pressure easily, 5 to 10 minutes, not forcing, installing. You can also rehearse calm through memory. Recall a moment you felt grounded. Replay the posture, the breathing, the internal tone. Then anchor it with a small gesture like pressing thumb and finger together. Repeat it daily so your nervous system learns the association. You can rehearse responses too. Visualize an anxiety-triggering situation. Then see yourself staying present, breathing steadily, and responding calmly. That's not fantasy, that's training. Your inner language matters as well. Replace I hope I don't panic with I remain calm under pressure. Say it daily. Language programs emotion, and practice calm during normal life. Walking, eating, showering, relaxed breathing, slow movement. You're teaching calm as a lifestyle, not an emergency button. And when you respond calmly, even a little, reinforce it. Say, that's it. That tiny reinforcement accelerates learning. Anxiety feels permanent only because it's practiced. Calm feels distant only because it's unfamiliar. Train calm daily and anxiety loses its home. Chapter 5. Exposure with authority, turning fear into obedience. Anxiety has a primary fuel source: avoidance. Every time you escape discomfort, anxiety learns, that feeling is dangerous, avoid it next time. So it returns stronger, faster, louder. Avoidance feels like relief, but it's a loan with interest. Fear doesn't disappear when you feel safe. It disappears when it learns you are not controlled by it. Anxiety is a prediction. It predicts you'll be overwhelmed, you'll lose control, you won't survive it. Avoidance confirms the prediction. Exposure disproves it. Every time you face the sensation and stay, the prediction fails, and your nervous system updates. Exposure isn't about bravery, it's education, but how you expose yourself matters. Desperate exposure is white-knuckling and hoping it ends. Authoritative exposure is calm, grounded, intentional. Authority sounds like, I'm staying. Do your worst. This sensation is allowed. Anxiety collapses when resistance ends. Comfort tells fear it was right. Authority tells fear it doesn't decide. Imagine being afraid to touch a door because you're sure it's locked. You avoid it and the fear stays. Then you touch the handle and the door opens. Fear dissolves because it was disproven. Exposure opens the door. Build an exposure ladder. List what you avoid from easiest to hardest. Then climb gradually and consistently. When you expose, don't escape the moment it spikes. Stay until it drops. Don't distract. Don't reassure. Don't run. Stay long enough for your body to learn this ends on its own. You can even invite the sensation. Bring it. That removes resistance. Then observe sensation neutrally. Tightness, heat, energy, no judgment, no story, and prioritize frequency over intensity. Daily mild exposure beats rare heroic exposure. End each exposure with proof. I stayed, I handled it. Identity shifts through action. Anxiety survives because you run. It dies when you stand, not aggressively, not desperately, authoritatively. Chapter 6. Identity shift, becoming the person anxiety can't touch. Two people practice the same tools. One becomes free, the other stays stuck. The difference isn't intelligence or willpower, it's identity. Anxiety attaches to who you believe you are. If you see yourself as someone who has anxiety, someone who needs to manage fear, someone fragile under pressure, anxiety has a place to live. But when identity shifts, anxiety loses access. This isn't about managing anxiety. It's about outgrowing it. You always act in alignment with identity. If your identity is "I'm an anxious person trying to be calm," calm will always feel temporary. But if your identity becomes "I remain steady under pressure," your behavior changes automatically. Many people unknowingly play a role around anxiety: the worrier, the overthinker, the sensitive one, the fragile one. It's familiar, and the brain prefers familiarity over freedom. Breaking free requires releasing the role. Power comes from self-definition. Not vaguely, not wishfully, decisively. Say it like a command. I am calm under pressure. I trust myself completely. I do not obey fear. Then prove it. Identity installs through repetition and evidence, so collect evidence daily. One moment you stayed, one moment you regulated, one moment you didn't obey fear. That proof builds self-trust. Clean up your language too. Stop saying "my anxiety" as if it belongs to you. Replace it with "the body is activated. This is manageable. I remain present." Language reinforces identity. And ask a simple daily question. What would the calm version of me do here? Then do that even imperfectly. Also, stop checking for anxiety. Constantly monitoring it keeps it relevant. Calm people don't check, they live. And end each day with a closing line that seals the shift. I lived as who I am becoming. Anxiety doesn't leave when it's defeated. It leaves when it's no longer relevant. You are not someone fixing anxiety. You are someone who outgrew it. And once identity changes, the mind follows, the body follows, life follows. Final chapter: the transformation. You've learned 6 mental habits, but they're not separate. They form a system. You learn to detach from thought, to train certainty, to regulate the body, to rewire calm through repetition, to face fear with authority, and to shift identity. Together, they return power to you. Anxiety thrives in confusion, hesitation, and self-doubt. It dissolves in clarity, action, and self-trust. Your final steps are simple. Practice daily. Stop checking. Live forward. You are not fragile. You are not broken. You are trained now. Which habit changed you the most? How has your relationship with fear changed? What does freedom feel like now? What commitment are you making to yourself? Who are you choosing to be moving forward? Answer them, then live them. If this brought clarity or peace into your life, apply what you've learned. Not perfectly, consistently. Anxiety is not your identity. Calm is not distant. Freedom is not complicated. It's practiced. Stand tall, breathe deep, move forward.